our DevOps as well as in our cybersecurity session, and we can utilize those hours for our some of the container and cloud security modules, because that is also becoming more and more relevant, and that will what we believe that will make our students more advantage on the job market. Any question on that? Vidya, what is your question? Where you get all the materials for what?
I think she's asking where she can get the materials for what we have done till now.
Uh, like the for the free classes, you're talking about the videos. You can unmute yourself. The Git and all you said. I'm a little confused. Are you talking about the free classes or the paid training?
Talking about the free classes.
Okay, so you are talking about the videos, right? The last classes recording or the study materials?
No, you said that Git and all you provide us previous videos and all that I wanted to
No,
say.
whatever information we have shared right now, like just before, that was our for our job ready training, the paid training. Now about the course content and course materials for the internship or this free session, you can find on our website. You can get the video recorded link in our WhatsApp group. Same you can find in our website as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Mr. Debashish,
Mr.
yeah.
Kartik, yeah, in addition to changing the GitLab for Azure, yeah, you might as well want to look into Kubernetes as well, because majority of them that are asking for Azure wants you to have something up on AKS, that's the Azure Kubernetes service. You understand? So I know the one we did was probably based on what GitLab and what we did when we were doing our, DSA classes. So you might want to focus on AKS as well now, because they focus more on Kubernetes. Like an interview I had a couple of months back, they just want somebody who can come in and just take up the system on Kubernetes, and Kubernetes, like you said, is very wide. We didn't really cover a lot, you know. They want somebody who can, be monitoring, either using Nagios, Prometheus, or Grafana, or whatever, And of course, maybe they can, like we did in the GitLab when we had the capstone project, maybe there should be a particular project where Kubernetes is used for the CI/CD
Exactly.
pipeline.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
is very well suggested. Actually, we also have that same thing in mind that apart from the capstone project, why don't we do one more project, or rather one project where we use entirely the tools on DevOps tools along with the Kubernetes in a very, I mean, the latest state of the art, that is your AKS or EKS. So we will do that with the Azure DevOps uh, and the pipelines. And we have exactly the same thing in our mind as well. So we are going to start that from the next batches.
Okay.
But don't worry.
Thank you.
Because I know Luis, you are from the old batches. So we are going to set up some few sessions because while we moved the major jump we have done in I think DSA 31 batches, we moved from Jenkins to GitLab. Now again we are changing GitLab to Azure DevOps, but we are going to ask all of our students to join uh, to do this upskillment. Yeah, Shubha, you can do that thing.
Thank you.
Mr. Devashi, if before we move to towards today's session, as we missed last weekend, so can you give us a brief, introductions like where we are and which topics we have covered? In like only the topics name will be good. So some of our students who join freshly today, they will have an idea that which session they have missed. Don't worry, if you missed, we are going to restart our DevOps session maybe in February again. So if you have a plan to only join the free session, still you can have a broader idea about the DevOps. Only difference between our free these sessions and the paid session, it in this free session you will have a high level overview. You will not having a hands-on or expertise or but in the paid training you will have become the capacity, or you can resolve the day-to-day activity with our fully hands-on training. And after the training you will have at least 1.5 to 2 years of hands-on experience. We do have some certain students who have already covered our main courses, like Arnes is here, Silas is here, uh Birabol is here, Luis is here, who have done the training, our paid training. Today we had a idea that we are going to skip today's sessions as well, because due to holiday many students, though those are based in Europe and US, they requested us to skip today's session, but again we cannot because some of students have joined. We also show their the respect for their availability and their time. So yeah.
Exactly. Yes, and I will also suggest that people who have joined fresh, please, if you want to go through all the video and the recordings of these free sessions on DevOps, as well as cybersecurity, you will just go to our YouTube channel, go for the playlists, and you will get from the day one whatever we have covered. I will start the session. If Mr. Menon, if you have anything more to discuss.
No, I just
Okay.
only showed my thanks to Ernest, especially because his scenario is little different. He done the training, the or job ready training, the paid training. He got the job. Still, he's don't want to miss a single session on the weekend. Thank you, Ernest.
Yeah, in fact, Ernest is there. Then we have Selassie as well, Barobel
Yeah.
as well,
Yes.
Louis. So they are all very, I mean, they have already done their courses, but they still are very much for their eagerness of learning more. They keep
Yeah.
us,
Yeah. Yeah.
keep joining our sessions. That's, I
And
mean,
actually,
really,
that also help us to do something new on our free training. So people, they also can explore newer thing on our training, and it should not be a little boring for them as well. So it also help us to chase for betterment.
yeah, exactly. So let me start the recording. Fine. The recording has started. The transcript has also started. Okay. I will share the screen. So I will discuss what I'm going to do today. Before that, I will share the screen. You will let me know if you are being able to see the screen. Is it that are you being able to see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So let me share my video as well. So am I visible? Clear and no issues?
Yes.
Fine. I will start. Initially, as you have discussed, that I may have to go through the what we have covered till date. So let me first discuss what we are going to do today. Okay. So here we are. We have covered the last 2 sessions. We have covered GitLab. The next session we have covered Terraform. And while we have covered GitLab, the theory portion, we have also in this session. This is session number 3, I think. 3. This was session number 4. And previous to that, we had session number 1 on DevOps introduction. A 2-hour session on introduction. It was quite a lot, but anyway, that was done as per the agenda. Then we had a detailed discussion on AWS Cloud. We didn't have a scope to discuss on Linux because, see, when we do our paid training, we do a lot of sessions on AWS in depth plus Linux. But in this thing, the scope is very limited. Therefore, we could not discuss anything on the Linux. But it is, my friends, it is very important that if you are stepping into DevOps and DevSecOps, I mean the security with the DevOps assets that you have created in the process and DevSecOps for securing those assets which you have created, you must be very, very good in Linux. You must have at least 60 to 70% of knowledge on AWS. But here I will suggest that minimum it should be 80%. Okay. Anyway, that was not discussed. Then we started with our GitLab theory, plus on the 4th session we had done a practical. That is, after we have discussed initially, we started with our GitLab demo. We done it. I can show the bit of that today also, but we will not drag it too much. I will just say what we have done on the GitLab project. That was just a demo project. Then we had gone through the theory portion of Terraform. Today, the 5th session. Today is the 5th session in our DevOps. This is the DevOps life cycle. I mean, for this free internship training. Okay. For this is the 5th session, and we are going to cover Ansible, the theory portion of it, and then finally we are going to have a demonstration on GitLab pipeline with the jobs on Terraform and Ansible. This is our agenda. In the 6th session, that is the following weekend, we are going to use or learn about, the Docker. We are stepping into our containerization. Okay, Docker containers. And the 7th and 8th session, we are going to learn about Kubernetes. Kubernetes part 1 and part 2. So this is in a very short, in overall, what are the things that we have covered and what are the things that we are going to do today and what are the things that we are going to cover in the following weekends. Is that fine? Any questions? So what we are going to do on the next DevOps cycle, because once session number 8 or 9, maybe it can be dragged to session number 9 as well, because these two cannot be covered. Maybe sometimes we can cover, sometimes we may not, based on the interactions. Okay, and then we may extend to one more weekend. After that, we are going to start a DevOps cycle number whatever. I think it is for the last 8 months we are doing several rounds of DevOps cycles along with cyber security and AI and data science. Okay, so any questions that you have? In that new cycle, we will replace Ansible and GitLab sessions with Azure DevOps, which is a replacement of GitLab. Okay, I will not discuss much about this, what we have in store for how we are going to replace GitLab, and we are going to introduce some project, some demo like this, but in which form, because we will not do the Ansible part. Or let's see. I'm not discarding it altogether, because my Azure DevOps will take definitely 2 sessions like Kubernetes. It must take 2 sessions. So I have to take out this Ansible part, and we'll have Azure DevOps 1 and Azure DevOps 2. Is it clear? Any questions that you might have? No, I believe then it's very good. We can start straight away with our discussion on Ansible. First of all, let us understand what Ansible is, why we are learning Ansible, okay, and after that. So I hope there are no questions, so I can proceed with the discussion. Like in the previous session, we have learned about Terraform. Okay, Terraform is a provisioning tool. Are you being able to see the screen? Let me make it a bit wider and a bit bigger, so that it becomes easier for you to see the screen. Is it now fine? So the earlier session, what we have learned is a bit of theoretical background on Terraform. Terraform is a provisioning tool. Like in provisioning tool, you create the resources over the cloud. So there are 2 terms: provisioning and configuration management. Okay, so for this provisioning is like you are enabling, or you are creating, or you are modifying, or you are destroying or deleting. Destroy or delete. What do you destroy or delete or create or modify? The various resources. You create resources, you modify resources, you delete resources, you enable resources. All this through on the cloud. The cloud can be anything. Okay, it could be AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, or Oracle Cloud, or IBM Cloud. Any cloud. Cloud doesn't matter. Provisioning is through the Terraform is cloud agnostic. So Terraform is that tool, DevOps tool. Okay. Now, suppose you have created one test server through Terraform, test server, which is called an EC2 instance. If you are doing it over Amazon Cloud, EC2 instance. Okay. Now, the thing is, that is what the power of a Terraform is up to that point. But now it should be like the test environment should be built up. Okay, like there will be a testing of a particular project, or some development which has been done by our developers in the project. So what will it do? then we will need some other tool, because provisioning is one part that has already been done. So a test server has already been created. So what we have to do now is to configure it. Configure it, let's say the configuration could be installation. Installation of what? So what can be the configuration? Various forms. Installation of softwares. Restarting, enabling, disabling of the services, of the software services which are maybe running in the background. Okay, so this is also part of configuration. So what is configuration management? What are the things that you do under configuration? You will be installing software, or you may be uninstalling of the software. You might sometimes need to uninstall already an installed software, uninstall software. Third is, can anybody help me in understanding or to visualize what the activities of your configuration might be? You will be anything, you will be doing the user configuration management. That is one of the vital parts, user configuration management. Then any other things that you can visualize? Installation of software is not only the application software, it can be databases as well. Okay. What about anything else? Security configuration. Thank you, Mr. Karthik, for giving such a wonderful session just before it. And it becomes a bit difficult for me to start a session after such a wonderful session. So we were discussing a lot about security. So the security configuration is one of the vital parts. Like you will be doing the secrets management. That is, there's a lot of, you have the passwords, the tokens, the passphrases, and so many secrets that you might need to get configured correctly. What can be the other one configuration? File management, file system management, or rather, what are file systems? What are the constituents of file systems? It is the files and folders. And file system management is also management which involves ownership, groups, and others. That is public access. So access, role-based access control. These sort of things, and especially when you do this user configuration management, you do a lot of user, the passwords, you will be creating the passwords, or you would be changing the passwords, or you would be giving the user permissions, policies, and all those stuff there can be. So there can be a lot of administrative configurations. Basically, there is no end. There are so many types of servers. There can be application servers, web servers, database servers, development servers, test servers, your pre-production or the staging servers, your production servers. So there is no end of those servers that you need some configuration. And it is very earlier, 20 years or 15 years back, all these were handled manually by the operations team. So there would be admins, Linux admins, or database admins. So Linux admins or OS admins, you can say operating system admins, and or the system administrators. Better to say system admins. You will see a very important role called database administrators, admins. Okay. And there will be, for each of the departments, you will be having some dedicated admins, network admins, networking admins, very vital position, network administrators. Okay. But most of these things where you have to have a set of steps that each and every day, every of the operations guy have to follow. So when they come early in the morning or any part of the day, late in the night, they have to follow certain steps, one after the other. People in the night jobs, night shifts, they will be running the bad jobs, you know. There used to be huge bad jobs that will take 4 hours, 6 hours to complete. So most of them will be run in the after some initial configuration. Though all the steps will be documented before you run the bad jobs. What are the various steps that you perform to enable the environment to run a particular bad job? There will be cron jobs, and these are IT terms. You may not need to know all these things right at this stage, but I'm saying that to highlight where these were all manual sort of, there in the cron jobs you will be scheduling that a particular job will be kicked off at a particular time of the night or a day. Okay, so you will schedule it. But still these are all manual activities, lot of manual activities. They were not automated. Now you will just remove this. You will find a tool with the coming of the DevOps. You have given a wonderful tool called Ansible. Okay, this is one of the vital tools in DevOps that you must know, and this will do your automation in configuration management. Automation in configuration management. So you need some tool to do the automation. Okay, so you do not need to do most of the, so 80 to 90% of those manual operations will be automated, but you should not do everything automated, because then you see it's like an autoimmune. It will kill yourself. You are making your system or your processes so much automated that automation can kill itself. So better if it is between 80 to 90% or 80 to 85%, it is much more than enough. And that is one of the tools that is going to help a lot of your manual configuration and tasks. Okay, automated. Any question? So we are going to learn a bit of Ansible architecture, Ansible components, which are host, inventory, configuration, playbooks, and modules. It is actually out of scope for me to discuss in lot or in details about all those components of Ansible, because it is not possible. It is out of scope. The scope is limited over the free internet sessions or internship sessions. We have variables and interpolation. So variables are the memory variables, and how we can extract the data stored in those variables are called interpolation. that can be done through Ansible as well. So Ansible, though it is not a programming language, it is simply a tool. The internal technology, when you write some Ansible scripts, is not a programming scripts at all. These are only scripts in a particular YAML format. Okay, that's all. You do not need to learn Java. You do not need to understand Python, or rather, you do not have. If you have a logical bent of mind, and if you can follow the Ansible documentation of how to write those playbooks, you can easily capture. So I have also taught many of my students in Chef. Chef is one of the biggest competitors of Ansible. Chef and Ansible both are configuration management tool. Okay. Now, I would usually take between 8 to 10 sessions of Chef, because I could not 8 to 10 sessions of 2-hour sessions of for Chef to complete Chef. Okay. Whereas I take only 4 sessions of 2-hour session to complete Ansible. So Ansible is very user friendly. The learning curve is very simple. Ansible is a very versatile tool. It is much more robust than you can believe it is. But because of its simple interface, you think it does not give you much feature, but it is laden with features. It is full of features, and sometimes it is much more than what Shape provides. Why Shape is so complicated? Because you have to implement a cluster. You have to have the agents running as a polling agents within the cluster of Shape, which is a very difficult, and not difficult. I mean, it's a additional headache for our administrators or operations guy or DevOps guys to maintain that cluster. Okay. Whereas Ansible does not go for any cluster maintenance. It is agentless. It is based on the push model. So what I can say, Ansible works on push model, whereas Shape works on pull model. A pull model basically needs a cluster. You need a cluster. There will be nodes, 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 and there will be one master node. They are all joined. They are all joined with the master. So they have to be mutually polling each other, because the pull model is that the master will be pulling the job over here and then pushing it back. So I don't know why this complexity. Whereas here you have a master and you have a node or the hosts. These are the hosts. Okay. And this is the master. Host 1, host 2. This may be in India. This master is in US, and this is in Australia. Okay. These are maybe the test servers or whatever the servers. So you want to deploy some jobs, you just push them. The master is in full control and there is no agents needed. So it's agentless. You push the jobs. Instead of pulling it, then processing it, and then pushing that job, like in Chef, it is simply push. You push it through the playbooks. Okay, your job is done. So you can install Python, you can install Java, whatever you like. All the configuration things that you can do, you can directly do. Just connect it, and the main thing is that it is very modularized through roles. There is no scope of discussing the roles, but I'm saying that your playbook This is a playbook. Okay, you write some Ansible scripts. So it is like a manifest file where you manifest your desire of what you want. So any DevOps guy will ask what and not say ask how. How is taken care by the tools, and the what is what you desire, what you manifest. What you desire is your desire. What you manifest is your desire. What you want, basically desire or your want. And that is what is a role of a DevOps guy, DevOps engineer, that you have to decide what has to be done. So you want to install Java on all the 100 machines or the hosts all over the scattered all over the world. So you need some architecture, some tool to do it very, very automatically in one go. So you'll write a playbook to have several tasks. So the playbook will have tasks. One task, another task. So, and those tasks will be deployed over onto your nodes. Just you have to play it. You have the Ansible command to execute this playbook, and the playbook will then implement those or push those tasks onto the hosts. Therefore, you are installing or you are deleting, you are uninstalling, or you are managing the user management or the file permissions, whatever you want to copy a file from the master server into the thing in a very, very simple manner. So you will be using SSH, OpenSSH toolkit, and you will have an inventory file. Inventory file will help you to locate or to give. There will be IP addresses of the host that you want to connect over SSH. So Ansible will do, and also these hosts are you are not going to give a password. You will be using some key, and that key is called your key pair. You will generate the key pair of the master, because this is the manifest file or whatever. This is the master server. That master server will be generated with a key pair, and that key pair will be copied, SSH copy ID over into each of these nodes, such that these nodes can be trustworthy. So the handshake, so this is the master, this is the host or the node. So this is the master and this is the host. So when you connect over SSH, you need a key pair for the handshaking. The key pair was generated over here. So there will be an SSH keygen utility through which you can generate your key pair. So a key pair will be generated with some encryption logic. Okay, that key pair will be copied over here. So the same key pair will be available over here into the node. So when the SSH connection happens, there will be a handshaking. So Ansible master will know that this key pair is available and it matches. So therefore, there will be a successful handshaking. So there is, for any handshaking, you need authentication. And what else? There are two parts. Authorization. And make sure that there is a folder called .ssh. If you learn Linux, you will know that there is a folder, and under that there will be an authorized key file. There you are going to put your that key pair. So there will be an authorized keys file over here, and there will be also an authorized keys files over here. So the key pair that you have generated should also be available in the authorized keys file of them. Then there is a mechanism through which SSH will be able to, the SSH connection will be able to read the authorized keys file, and it will match the key pair of the master. So the connection is established. And that is a nice mechanism, but I do not have a scope to discuss in much more details. But anyway, I'm saying that the push model is a very simple model. The architecture of Ansible is that simple. Okay. Any question? Or are there any people around? I am not sure. Let me just once verify for the sake of my. Oh, okay. Yeah, very good. So I can continue. Because you have been so quiet, I was wondering whether is there anyone.
Yeah, because of the holiday, uh, the number of attendees is little less because of I mentioned
And
earlier
holiday,
also.
and as well as it is cold. So when you are in, you are not very comfortable with the cold out there, you do not ask questions. That is what my belief. Okay. Anyway, I was just
So
joking.
guys, please, it is an interactive session. Unmute yourself. Just think as your Scrum call. Ask as much as you can question. It should be like interactive, not like a training kind of environment we don't want to create.
Exactly.
It
Okay.
should be more discussion.
Yes, sir. Mr. Debash.
Yeah.
Mr. Debashish. So now, in the process of when you're running a CI/CD pipeline,
Okay.
and there is a failure within the Ansible runner, where do you start looking for?
Yeah.
the
Very good
failure?
question. So the pipeline will have a mechanism of having a log display. Okay, we will see that. So if there is any problem, that error will be echoed onto that log file. Okay, so basically you have to have an experience of understanding the error. And once you understand the error, you can directly go to either error is coming out of Terraform or Ansible. So, or maybe on the pipeline itself, maybe the pipeline variable is in a wrong place. So you are using a local variable, but you are trying to use that local variable that was out of scope from that job. You are trying to use it in another job. So these can be so many types of the errors. Okay. So you have to understand, interpret the error message that will be displayed on the log file, and then take appropriate steps to rectify it. Was that the question or something else?
Yeah. Most
So
likely, yeah.
basically, the Ansible will throw an error, but it will be captured in the pipeline. So pipeline, and ultimately, because pipeline is the orchestration tool, or rather, all the jobs are running over the pipeline. So pipeline has a role to fulfill, that it has to give that alert, or the job logs will have those errors. It is only one place. So it is not that Terraform will have its own log file and you have to go to, if there was an error of Terraform, you have to go to that Terraform log file. No, not at all. It will be in one centralized location. That is, whether it's you are using Jenkins, or whether you are using GitLab, or if you are going to now use with Azure DevOps. Everywhere there is a log file, centralized log file, where you can go and pick up your errors. And also those errors and the messages will be modified in such a way that it is human readable. You can easily understand the problem. It will be detailed. It will let you know whether it was from Ansible, or it was from Terraform, or it was from Docker container, or somewhere else. Okay, where the fault lies and what is the error message coming from that particular application or tool.
That's good.
So, this what and why Ansible, history of Ansible, how Ansible works, Ansible architecture. I will not go into details much. What is Ansible? We have already discussed that it's a configuration management tool. And this is one of the most popular tools available in DevOps. Okay. Chef, if you just, the next slide, you will see the slide was prepared in 2020 by, I think it was Google. Okay. In 2020, and now it is 4 years. And within these 4 years, I mean, Ansible has surged much more ahead of the red one. The red one is the chef. On 20, then 4 years back also, Ansible was quite ahead of chef. Now it is Ansible is almost like miles apart.
I don't remember in last 1 year we got any, we placed anyone or consultant where the chef or puppet was required.
Yes, yes, because they have made it unnecessarily very complicated. Simple jobs can be done in a very simple way. Even the complex jobs are handled in a very simple way in Ansible. The best part of Ansible is using the modules. There are over 750 modules already inbuilt within Ansible, and they are expanding that base. So you cannot think of any task that you want to do in a configuration management that is not available as module. You want to copy a file, you want to move a file, you want to delete a file, you want to change the permission of a file, you want to create a user, you want to change the permission of a user, you want to assign a policy to the user, you what not. You want to install Java, you want to do the packaging using Maven. Everything that you wanted to do is available through modules. You want to download the license key of Docker? Yes, there is the app module. Why I'm saying app module? App module can be anything. Like there can be YAM module. YAM and apt these are the two families. One is the Red Hat family of Linux. One is the Debian family of Linux. In the Red Hat family of Linux, you use the package manager called YAM. In the Debian family, where the Ubuntu and other Kali Linux and other very popular Linux are available, you use apt module, APT. Like just 1 hour back, not even 1 hour, Mr. Karthik was discussing about Kali Linux, and you were seeing that he was giving a command called apt update. You are updating the repository, the package repository, and that package manager is APT. So you have families called Red Hat and Debian. These are Linux families. These are the two families of Red Hat, of Linux, Red Hat and the Debian. The package manager, I'm talking about the package manager, is YAM. And here it is APT. Like for Python, you have pip. Like for Node.js, you have npm. Okay. Like for Windows, you have Chocolatey, through which you will be able to install, uninstall, modify, upgrade all the packages. And this is for Windows on the PowerShell, Node.js. Okay, Python. So similarly, on the Linux, you also have YAM for the Red Hat family, and for the Debian family, where Ubuntu and Kali Linux is there, you will use APT. So Ansible, modules. So Ansible will have YAM module, to do any installations or configurations over any Red Hat family type of. So there can be CentOS. There is Red Hat himself, Red Hat Linux. There are SUSE. There are many other distributions of Linux. Here you have Kali, you have Ubuntu. So the modules of Linux, if they are going to install some software or some configuration of software on CentOS, Red Hat, or SUSE and others, you will be using the module of yum. For Debian, they will be using Ansible will be using apt module. Now, suppose this is a very dynamic world. IT is always a dynamic. You may not know before the runtime, before you are actually running your tasks, your runtime environment. Before that, you will not be knowing whether you are using whether this, let's say this node. There are two nodes. One is using Ubuntu, and this one is Red Hat. But you have created one playbook, okay, and you want to install Java over here. So, but Java can be installed with apt when you are using Ubuntu, because Ubuntu belongs to Debian family. But here you have to use yum. So, do I need to create two playbooks, one for this and one for this? What do you think? This is a very situational question. This can be asked in an interview. Are you getting the question? You have created an Ansible playbook. Playbook is nothing but you are trying to deploy the tasks. What is the task here? The task is you are installing Java over onto two hosts. This is in India, this is in Bangladesh, let's say. Okay, and this is in US. You are creating on the master server or the master Ansible node, you are creating one playbook. That playbook is going to install Java. But I don't want to install, I don't want to create two, because there can be hundreds of machines. Will I create 100 playbooks? Because I may not know which one is what. So in that case, I will prefer to go for one playbook. And Ansible is giving me one module called, will it be apt or yum? No, neither of them. It will give me a module called package. I will use the same, the application, the command itself is the same. But instead of apt module, I will use, or yum module, I will use package module. Why? Because package during the runtime, it understands, because it will go and ping and gather the facts, whether what is the operating system over here. Okay, it will gather some facts. Gathering of facts is one of the aspects of Ansible. It will also gather, because it will connect here and it will gather the fact. And in gathering the fact, it will understand that this is using Ubuntu and this is using Red Hat. So I cannot use a particular apt or yum. I am using package. So this decision will be at the runtime, and therefore I do not want to go for multiple things. I will use package, and therefore with the help of package, I will be able to install Java and Java on two different types of operating system. Is that point clear? This is as simple as that. So you will consult the inventory. Sorry, I think there was some networking issue. Am I audible and visible? And
Yeah.
sorry. How much did you miss?
No. It's for a fraction of second.
Okay. So did I discuss this? So I was discussing about package. During the runtime, I will not use either apt or yum. Was that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I was saying, that it is very simple. The interface is so simple that you can use the inventory. The inventory is the file that you will be creating on the master. See, this is the master on which you have installed Ansible. You do not, these are the hosts. Host 1, 2, 3. Okay. So you do not need to install anything. Oh, sharing of the screen. Okay. Sorry. Very sorry. Very sorry. Today, is the recording on? Yeah. So I will share the screen again. Just let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So as I was saying that this is the master on which you have installed your Ansible. You do not need to install anything on the hosts. That is, you do not need to install any agents, no agents. Unlike the chef, you do not have to establish any cluster with the hosts. It is very difficult for a chef cluster to let the hosts, because today is 3, tomorrow it can be 5. So you have to make 2 more nodes join this cluster. It is difficult. You always have to manually intervene. But in Ansible, there is no manual thing, because you install only on the master. That's all that you need to do. But you have to ensure that, because Ansible works on Python, so therefore you must ensure that all these hosts at least has Python installed. And there is a beautiful thing that Ansible, when it connects to the host, will gather the information that whether the host has a Python installed. If not, it will return back and inform the Ansible master, and Ansible master will you will write a pipeline, a playbook through which you can install what you want to install now. You want to install Python over all this. So sitting in one place, sitting in US, you are doing all this activity. Okay, this does not have Python. Okay, install it. Just create one. And within 5 minutes, you can create one Ansible script. And within 2 minutes, you can execute it. And you will see all the machines, all the servers that you wanted to do, whether it's a test server or a pre-production server, they are not having Python. You will install Python in no time.
Mr. Debashish, I have sent you a message. Can you check, please?
In where?
In WhatsApp.
Okay. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, I will just what we will do is today, because there is a lot of our students who are enjoying the holidays. I will better just complete the Ansible part. The demo part. What we will do it next weekend.
Yes.
Is that fine? Because
Yeah,
I
I
wanted
think
to have a bit of a crowd to understand how pipeline works with two tools, at least with Terraform jobs and your Ansible jobs. So that project we will do, our demo at least we will do. So let us park that project or that particular demo for the next weekend. I will complete the Ansible part today. Will that be fine, Mr. Menon?
that will be perfectly okay.
That's good. That's good. So I will again start sharing. Are you being able to see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So it's good. I was also feeling a bit that we should allow the other students, maybe because of the holiday, they are not available today. So let me continue there. Yeah. So similarly, we have to gather the facts and install our Python. In no time, we will end up what we desire. That is, we will create a manifest file called the playbook. We are going to use the architecture is very simple. Why Ansible uses the inventory? Because the inventory will help. It is a place where we have the IP addresses or the destination addresses of as a domain or maybe with an IP address to reach the hosts. The modules will be able to, like as I told you, one of the modules is APT, one of the modules is YAM, or else it can be packaged. So this helps us. This helps us to deploy our tasks. So ready-made modules are there. About 750 modules are already there. So that will help us to give this the tasks over here. And how will the modules be called, or rather, how will it be executing the task? It is through the API calls, the REST API calls. Okay, it will post the jobs over onto the hosts. And therefore, you have the plugins. Now, the plugins are based on, you have to download the plugins. While you are installing Ansible, the plugins will be installed. Okay, plugins related to this can be over the cloud. So the plugins of AWS will be available. Let's say if it is AWS, and there are so many other platform dependent plugins are installed already available with Ansible engine. You will write Ansible playbook. You are a DevOps user. Okay, so basically when you are a DevOps guy, you will be writing a playbook, and the playbook will access the inventory. Inventory will have the IP addresses or the destination addresses of the host. You will use the modules, and you will use the SSH and Python. Of course, you will gather the fact whether Python will be there on the host, minimum requirement. So remember one thing, Ubuntu, when you are using Ubuntu or Kali, Python is already inbuilt. So Python comes bundled with the installation of Ubuntu, of the operating system. So you are sure if they are either all the servers are Ubuntu, you can rest assured that Python is already available. Okay. So as I told you, the inventories are nothing but a list of hosts where playbook operated. So this is a file, a simple text file, where you will create those text files and put in the Ansible host with an alias name. That is, you can give the host a name, and then you can actually give the IP address. So you give the alias name, the Ansible underscore host, that is the keyword, equal to the IP address. That's all that you need in the inventory. So that Ansible will go and look for those hosts for which it has to connect, where the playbooks will operate, the tasks will be deployed. Now, what is a playbook? Playbook is that manifest file where you are writing some YAML scripts, Ansible guided YAML scripts. Okay. This describes the tasks to be executed. So I will remove this. I will say, let me use the red one. So if I say this is so you will have playbook. Then the playbook can have play 1, play 2, play 3. Under each of these plays, you are organizing your playbook. Okay. Under this, you have several tasks. Task 1, T3, T1, T2. Okay. Under the tasks, you are calling various modules, and then can be handlers, and you can call the notify as well. So each of this play will have the tasks, and tasks can internally call the modules and the handlers and the notify. So this is the organization of a playbook. It is written in a very simple language called YAML. It is not Java or Python or C++, anything. Simple YAML. And YAML, it is made up of JSON data values. So the key value, value pair. Playbooks are like instruction manuals. What you want to do over the hosts. So now the modules, as we have discussed, the modules are like tools. Tools are like the programming tools or the APIs, which can control resources like services, packages, etc. There are over 750 core modules. It will also, if you wanted to add your own custom module, you can also create. And that creation is also done through Ansible. You can create your own module. Okay. If some very, very customized task that is not available within the 750 core modules, then you can create your own customized module. And that can also be helped through, and you will get all this very good documentation over the net. You just ask them this particular, you want to write a playbook. There are umpteen examples of playbooks. You want to use copy module. You do not know the syntax. You call the documentation for Ansible. It will give you the entire examples. So everyone is doing copy paste, nothing but you have to know what you need to copy and what you need to paste. That's all. And just modify a bit here and there. Your playbook is done. And then last but not the least is your host files, which is the inventory file. The host files are the default inventory file. okay, where you will put your whatever the addresses and the configuration of the hosts. And then this Ansible CSG is the configuration file of Ansible, where there are lots of configurational parameters. So we have discussed, you will write in YAML, okay, in the YAML format. This is the playbook, the structure of a playbook. Playbook, you have several plays, and then each play can have several tasks, and each task can call several modules. Module, notify, handler, and all those things. Playbook have number of plays. Plays contain tasks. Tasks call core or custom modules. Handler gets triggered from notify and executed at the end only once. So this is the structure of a playbook. I'm not going to discuss the playbook because we will discuss when we do the demo next day. Okay. So this is a simple playbook. This is a playbook with multiple plays. These are the few commands. These are the few commands that only few. Like in Terraform, you had only few Terraform commands, like the you say Terraform. If you have attended the earlier session, Terraform validate. You have Terraform play. You have Terraform not play, sorry, Terraform plan. Because we are discussing playbook, that's why I got to plan. Then you say Terraform apply, and finally you say destroy. So these are very few commands. Similarly, with Ansible also, you have Ansible playbook, the command. You give the playbook which you are going to execute. That is the one that you have created with the YAML script. So you give that particular file, and then you syntax, check the syntax, like the validate for Terraform. You do the syntax check for in Ansible. So you check whether the syntax of this particular thing is correct. Then you will play it, like you apply in Terraform, you will execute the playbook. So the command and give the file name of the playbook. Then you can also run you can also mention where is your inventory and what is your inventory name. So minus inventory. So maybe the inventory name is only inventory. So you are giving that I for identification of the inventory file, and then you are running the playbook. Sometimes your default, what is the inventory file for default is hosts, but you are not using the hosts. You are giving some other name. You are given a file name called inventory.ini or inventory.text. Whatever you give, you mention it over here. So Ansible modules, as I told you, there are modules which are going to give you the code to be able to be used through the Ansible command line. These modules are called by the tasks. Okay, so the modules, like example, is the ping module, the yum, apt, the package, pip, npm modules, you call it. And then there is the raw, the one you wanted to print. Okay, the command, the shell commands, the shell, the script module. Basically, all the shell commands can be run with command module or the shell module or the script module. Then, so examples are, you see, the examples are very good. Ping, setup, yum, apt key, you want to download a key. Apt repository, you want to update the repository. You want to use a package instead of using like yum or app. It's a generalized package manager. So PIP for managing Python packages, NPM for managing Node.js packages, a shell command script, these to run a local script in the remote node. Okay, copy command, you can copy a file. These are the few examples, not all, because there are 750 plus modules. So I cannot keep on listing all of them. Copy, you can copy a file from the local to the remote. You can fetch, you can get URL. You can use the file, the directories and all those stuff. You can create files and directories. You can delete files and directories, creating soft and hard symbolic links, adding and modifying. So basically Linux is a very important topic. You must be good in Linux to get a good job. Template, there is the Jinja 2 template, but we will not go for the, you can export the variables between the systems, between the operating systems, between the various nodes. Okay, so there can be a list of variables and dynamically say, let's say this is a production environment and this is a test environment and this is a development environment. Okay, development, this is the test. Now, the variables are all tuned, named according to the development environment, when the environment is development. But you want to now export those very same variables, you want to export them to the test environment. So you use a template called Jinja 2 template from your dev environment, and just the same variables will be exported to test environment. So the environment dev is using operating system called Ubuntu. Screen missing. What is that? Screen missing? Did I not share it?
Yeah, I can't see your screen.
Oh, how come? So long you will not be able to see the screen at all. Now can you see it?
Yes.
My God. So I was describing how far did you get? The template. These are the modules that I'm discussing. The template is one of the module, but that is a different concept. Where suppose I was discussing that you have a dev environment, dev server, there is a test server, and there is a production server. But you are not going to change the variables and their functionality from each environment to the other. What you do, you use that, export them to a template to the test environment. So let's say this is using Ubuntu. Let's say this is using Ubuntu environment or even to Ubuntu operating system. And this is using Red Hat operating system, the test server. I will not change the test server operating system from Red Hat to Ubuntu. Instead, I will change the template and their values. Okay, dynamically. This is dynamically. It's a beautiful concept, but it's a very advanced concept as well. I'm not going to discuss that. We discuss that usually in our paid course. But so when you export them, you will see the variable values have adjusted to the environment because it is Red Hat. So say suppose you are using Yum APT over here, you will find that the module has changed to Yum because the environment is Red Hat. So this is using a Jinja 2 template. Now in the market, you have Jinja 3 templates advanced. You will have find, replace, line in file, service user, cron, debug. So many things are there as a module. You can just simply use them. You will say, Google, please give me the Ansible example for the service module. You will get lots of examples. You will copy one of them, suit according to your requirement. You want to use a cron job in Ansible. You will say Ansible, Google Ansible cron module. Immediately, it will give you a documentation on the cron module, and you can have lots of examples. You can put one of the examples and modify it accordingly. We are not going to discuss the roles. It is a bit, but remember, the roles are nothing but you organize the playbook. Why? Because you create a playbook to organize the task. Whereas you create Ansible roles to, sometimes the playbook can go very complex, very big. So why don't you break down the plane? So you use roles. So what is the role doing? The role is actually organizing the playbook. Instead of clubbing everything within the playbook, you distribute, you modularize the playbook and through the roles. Okay. So the roles will create all those directories and folder structure for you, but that is out of scope of our discussion over here. So what we will do is today, there is also, you can create the roles automatically through Ansible Galaxy is a tool. Okay. You will create Ansible Galaxy init, give the role name. Immediately it will create the entire structure of the role. Ansible Vault is a place where you can secretly or secure your data. Ansible Vault is a feature of Ansible that allows you to keep sensitive data such as passwords or keys in encrypted files rather than a plain text in playbooks or roles. Okay. In Kubernetes, when you learn Kubernetes, you will see that the same thing happens with a Kubernetes object called secret. You will create a secret manifest file. And there is another one called config map. Okay, this secret with a capital S and a config map with a capital C and M is where you secretly store your important information that you do not want it to get leaked. Secret information like the password, passphrases, and so many other sensitive data, the tokens, the project ID, and all the stuff. Similarly, so you will be using the Ansible Vault. So you can encrypt the playbook because you don't want the playbook to be displayed. Because playbook is a simple, I will delete this. Playbook is written in a simple text, YAML text, and you do not want to expose them to any outsider. Because then outsider will know a lot of things about your playbook. So you will encrypt it using the Ansible Vault command. And then you can decrypt it to see it because you wanted to debug it or to see it in a plain text, you will decrypt it. You can edit encrypted playbook. So you will say, as you are basically going to the Ansible Vault and using that the tool to edit the playbook as if you are doing a text editing. YAML. You will encrypt the playbook. You can decrypt the playbook as it is. So to secure your playbook and all those stuff. this we will see in our demo. That is on the next weekend. So today I will stop it over here because we are already only very few people remaining. Thank you for all your patience. Okay, this is all for today. I will stop the sharing.
Thank you, Mr. Debashish. Thanks a lot.
Thank
So,
you.
guys, if you have any question, feel free to ask, or else we are going to close today's session. Today's session was a little bit shorter compared to our daily session, but because of the holiday session, and we are also prepared that we will have a lesser. We have got many requests in personal WhatsApp message that as a suggestion that if we can skip today's session, but which we cannot. Sorry for them, and because some of them and some of you are already joined, right? So that's the reason. But what we have decided, we make our today's conversation little shorter. So that's why both, parties will have something to achieve.
Also, the recording will be available. So on the next weekend, those who are attending, because we want to use that weekend, we will delay it by one more week. Instead of having 8 sessions, we will have 9 sessions.
Even our cybersecurity DevOps main job ready training is supposed to start in yesterday, which we had to delay it because of some of our students, they could not join, though they have already registered, they have completed their payment, but still we don't want to set a
They may
scenario
have
where
gone
they
for a long weekend or some holidays.
yes.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Fine, absolutely fine.
Guys, if you have any question or doubt, feel free to ask in the group, or if you have you can call us, so we can discuss from there. And thank you for your time. Have a great day and Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Men, I have a quick question.
Yes, Selassie.
What between DevSecOps and cybersecurity, which one has more potential for remote jobs?
Cybersecurity is a flavor of DevSecOps is a specialized flavor of cybersecurity. In cybersecurity is like the whole domain. In that domain, GRC is another like bigger umbrella, and in that way you have pen tester, DevSecOps engineer, cloud security engineer. Then there is one or two more security or audits. Now this apart from the security audit is totally theoretical part, and it is more managerial position. But rest 3 position we are going to cover in our DevSecOps and cybersecurity training. Now the DevSecOps is the most advanced and latest trend. So we are going to pinpoint the DevSecOps, but but to become a master on DevSecOps, you also need to know the cloud security as well as your penetration and vulnerability scan like management. So and all of this course content or modules we are going to train, because without like DevSecOps is much more advanced. Without knowing the cloud infrastructure security, network security, or the vulnerability scan, pen testing, you cannot be a DevSecOps engineer.
Okay.